This man emerged from the ocean and claims he's a forgotten sea god. It was 2016 when fishermen in the small coastal village of Lamfair PG caught something unbelievable. It looked like an ordinary fishing net until it was pulled from the water, revealing an extraordinary sight. Inside were not fish, but hundreds of sea creatures all tangled together. There were starfish, seaweed, seashells, and even some old plastic bottles. But what really surprised them was the man who came up with it. No one knew him. He was skinny, pale, and had green hair. What was he doing inside the net? Did he build it himself and trap these animals? They asked him, but he didn't answer. In fact, he didn't say anything at all. All he did was stare straight ahead with eyes that seemed to have seen too much. The villagers took the man out of the net, but soon realized they couldn't understand his language. The man kept mumbling incoherently, which made the villagers think he was insane. So they called the police. When the officers arrived, they found the man still muttering and staring off into the distance. Although he didn't respond to their questions, he seemed calm and well-balanced, which ruled out any mental health concerns. He was then taken to a nearby hospital for observation. As doctors examined him, they noticed something peculiar about his ears. They were completely devoid of any cartilage and seemed oddly sensitive to touch. Despite this peculiarity, the doctors couldn't find anything else unusual about him. His heart was beating normally, and his reflexes were intact. His temperature, blood pressure, and other vital signs were also within the normal range. After running tests, the doctor concluded he was perfectly healthy, both physically and mentally. However, no one could understand what he was saying. After examining him, the authorities decided to release him because they couldn't charge him with anything. But before leaving, the man looked back at the officers and said something shocking. "You may not believe me now, but one day you will." With that cryptic message, he disappeared into the crowd, leaving everyone wondering about his strange behavior and the meaning of his words. The next day, news of the mysterious man spread throughout the country. People were amazed by the incredible story and wanted to know more about him. Soon, journalists from all over the world started searching for the man, but no one knew where he had gone. Some believed he was a dangerous criminal, while others thought he was just an ordinary person who had been lost at sea for a long time. Whatever the truth was, no one could deny the mystery surrounding this man's appearance. Meanwhile, the man who had emerged from the ocean was far away from the noise and chaos. He had traveled to an isolated part of the countryside, where no one would bother him. There he built a small hut and lived a secluded life. Every morning he would wake up early and walk to the nearest lake. He would sit on the shore for hours, staring at the water and muttering to himself. People who saw him from afar thought he was crazy, but they didn't understand that he was communicating with someone or something in the lake. One day, a young woman named Sarah was walking through the forest when she heard some strange sounds coming from the lake. Curious, she followed the sound and soon saw the mysterious man sitting on the shore. He was still muttering to himself, but now Sarah could hear his words clearly. "I am the forgotten sea god," he said. "I have returned to claim my power." Sarah was shocked to hear this. Was this man really a god? If so, why had he hidden himself for so long? She wanted to know more, but the man suddenly stopped speaking and turned to her. Sarah was taken aback by his intense gaze, but she couldn't help but feel drawn to him. She approached him slowly and asked, "Can you hear me?" The man turned away from her and replied in a deep voice, "I hear everything and see everything." Sarah was both frightened and intrigued by his words. She had never met anyone like him before. As days turned into weeks, Sarah began visiting the man at the lake every day. She would sit next to him in silence, listening to the sounds of nature and the man's occasional murmurs. One day, Sarah gathered her courage and asked the man, "Who are you? The man turned to her and stared into her eyes. "My name is forgotten, just like the legends of the sea," he said. "I am the protector of the oceans, the one who brings calm to the waves. But humanity has forgotten me, and that is why I have been hidden from the world." Sarah was stunned by his words. Could this man really be a god? She had always loved the ocean and respected its power, but she had never thought of there being a god of the sea. Sarah began bringing food and water to the man every day. She wanted to help him, but she didn't know how. One day, she brought an old book on mythology and sat next to the man. She opened the book and started reading aloud. In the beginning, there was only darkness. Then the great gods emerged from the chaos and created the world. One of the first things they created was the ocean, vast and endless. They also created the sea gods, who were responsible for protecting the oceans and all the creatures that lived there. Sarah closed the book and looked at the man. "Are you a sea god?" she asked. The man nodded slowly. "I am the god of the sea, and my name is Thalesis," he said, "but I have been trapped in this form for many years. I need your help to regain my powers and return to my true form." Sarah was hesitant at first, but she couldn't bear to see the man suffer any longer. She agreed to help him, and together they began performing rituals and reciting ancient prayers. Every day, Sarah felt a surge of energy as she performed the rituals. She could sense Thalesis' power growing stronger with each passing day. However, she also felt a dark presence watching them from afar. It was as if something evil was trying to prevent Thalesis from regaining his power. One night, Sarah was awakened from her sleep by a loud crash. She rushed to the window and saw that Thalesis' hut had been destroyed and he was nowhere to be found. Panic surged through her as she realized that the dark presence had finally found him. Determined to save Thalesis, Sarah set out to find him. She searched for days, but there was no sign of the sea god. Just when she was about to give up hope, she heard a faint voice calling out to her. "Help me, Sarah!" The voice was weak, but Sarah could recognize it anywhere. Following the voice, Sarah came across a cave hidden behind a waterfall. As she stepped inside, she saw Thalesis lying on the ground, weak and injured. Beside him was a dark figure with glowing red eyes. "Let him go!" Sarah shouted, charging towards the dark figure. The creature snarled, revealing sharp fangs. "Foolish mortal, you cannot defeat me," it hissed. "I am the bringer of chaos, and I will destroy you." Sarah was terrified, but she couldn't bear to watch Thalesis get hurt any further. With a surge of adrenaline, she tackled the creature, knocking it away from The two creatures snarled at each other, their eyes blazing with fury. "You cannot win," the chaos monster hissed. "Give up now, and I will grant you a quick death." But Sarah refused to back down. She knew that if she didn't stop the monster, Thalesis would be in danger. As the battle raged on, Sarah felt exhausted. She knew she couldn't defeat the monster with strength alone. She had to use her mind. Thinking quickly, Sarah grabbed a nearby rock and threw it into the center of the cave. The rock hit a stalactite, causing it to fall and block the monster's path. "Now, Thalesis," Sarah shouted, "use your powers and defeat the monster." Thalesis, who had been regaining his strength, summoned all his power and unleashed a bolt of lightning at the monster. The cave shook as the lightning hit the monster, causing it to scream in pain. The monster struggled to free itself from the stalactite, but it was too late. Thalesis struck again, this time with even more force. The monster let out a final scream as it was consumed by the lightning. With the monster defeated, Thalesis turned to Sarah and smiled. "Thank you, Sarah," he said. "Without your help, I would not have been able to defeat the chaos monster." Sarah blushed at the praise and looked away. "It was nothing," she said. "I just wanted to help you." At that moment, Thalesis embraced Sarah, and she felt his true form surging through her. She knew that he was finally free from the darkness that had held him back for so long. From that day on, Felicis and Sarah spent their days by the lake, enjoying each other's company and basking in the glow of Thelyss's restored powers. Together, they had defeated the chaos monster and brought balance back to the world. And as the sun set over the horizon, they knew that their love for each other would continue to grow stronger with each passing day.